My name is Gilad Cohen. I graduated from Humber's International Development Program in 2011. I'm an artist, advocate for human rights, and the founder and executive director of JAYU. This is my Humber story. Years ago, I got to take a day trip into North Korea. It was one of the most bizarre experiences of my life. It led me to wanting to work with North Korean refugees to help them escape and to help them settle into a better life. And so I enrolled in Humber's International Development Program as a way to be able to support the North Korean human rights cause. My biggest takeaway from Humber was actually a story that came from a wonderful professor that I had in the International Development Program. She told us a story about development workers one day going to Uganda. They decided to plant a huge garden. A couple months later, they came back and the whole garden was completely torn up and destroyed. And when they started talking to the locals said, well, yes, this is where the animals migrate through every year. And so when the aid workers asked, why did you never tell us that? The locals said, well, you never asked us. And so my biggest takeaway from that story and from the International Development Program as a whole was to involve community in every single way when you're doing community related work. JAYU is a Toronto-based human rights and arts charity that is committed to sharing human rights stories through the arts. We have year-round programs like our annual Human Rights Film Festival. We have a human rights podcast where we interview people with really unique human rights experiences. Last year during the pandemic, we rebranded the Human Rights Film Festival to call it HRFF+. What that plus means is that we now have spoken word poetry slams, a comedy night, youth exhibitions, panels, workshops, and more. And it's really just a way for us to be able to use the arts as a platform to discuss injustice, inequity, and to dream of a better, more just world that we all deserve to be living in. We just wrapped up our 10th annual Human Rights Film Festival. It was our largest film festival yet. It was 10 days of action-packed programming. One of the programs that I'm proudest of at JAYU is our I Am program, which provides arts and social justice mentorship to equity-deserving youth from across the city. We teach youth aged 12 to 26 how to use the art as tools to share human rights stories. The program leads to leadership opportunities, it leads to employment opportunities, and it also leads to exhibition opportunities. Each year we work with some of the youth to also create an exhibition. So we just got back from Kitchener-Waterloo. We facilitated a 2-week intensive photography and spoken word poetry training program for 8 Indigenous youth. It ended up culminating in an exhibition titled We've Been Here, which includes self-portraits from the youth and poetry that explores those themes. When I think about the most memorable part of my career, I honestly think about the remarkable people that I've been able to meet over the last 10 years of doing this work. The thing that's probably driven this furthest is just my passion for creating equitable spaces where through the arts we can discuss human rights stories. In 2020, we were so fortunate at JAYU to be selected as the sole winner of Toronto Arts Foundation's Arts for Youth Award. Winning that award really validated a lot of the work that we're doing. And even though we don't do this work for validation, it still felt really nice to be recognized in that way. The most rewarding thing is being able to dream of new ideas. And without a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of red tape, we're actually able to explore new and creative ways of building space and building community. When I think about JAYU in the future, I want us to be the first thing that people think of when they think of arts and human rights. One of the most important things to me was being able to surround myself with people who did know the things that I didn't know in order to encourage success. The other thing I would recommend is always be mindful of the privilege that you hold and try to look around in any given room that you're in and try to pay attention to who's not in that room with you. When possible, try to give up some space, try to give up some privilege so that other people, and specifically equity deserving people, could be in that room with you making decisions as well. I'm Gilad Cohen, and I'm a proud Humber grad.